Shalom, Akif Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, B'Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's going to be edifying. It says the time for peace is over. This is from my boy, Cal Kalinske, which he's a character, man. This dude funny as hell. Maybe a Northern Kingdom Jake. You know, he talks a lot of shit, but regardless of it, man, the whole world is waking up to the fact that this bitch is getting ready to crash, man. All right, out of all of the signs, the cosmic activities, from the chariot sightings to the blood moons to the solar and lunar eclipses, which blood moon is a lunar eclipse, but to the solar eclipses, to the lunar eclipses, to the different signs of heaven, from the polar vortexes to the northern lights, all these are signs predicated to Yahweh Shai returning back to this earth to reclaim his bride, which is the elect. Okay, this thing is here, and I believe through the Spirit it's here to stay. I don't see it lightening up. I don't see it getting any. I don't see tensions really dying down, because now Putin is directly issuing threats to the West if they step foot in Israel, or if they try to invade or de-escalate the situation in Israel. Russia is warning America, man, like, look, okay, you step on our front door, there's going to be an issue. Because, see, the whole tension between the Iranian protesters and the government being overthrown, ultimately, America wants to go down there and send aid is because that's the quickest, or that's the most easiest way to put boots on the ground, from Delta Force to, you know, your military boots on the ground in Iran, while that country is being going through a regime change. The easiest way to overthrow it is in the middle of it being broken down through regime change, man, through the civil unrest, the protests. The best time to strike now is now, like how they say that strike while the iron is hot. So whatever happened in Iran, civil unrest due to their government, whether the West has indirect or direct influence over it, regardless of it, this is Esau's MO, to strike while the iron is hot. And Russia, like, hold on. You know, Trump would have been better if he just would have appeared to ignore it and to keep himself out of it, and then send his espionage force down there to do what they got to do. But he announced it because the dude has no fucking discretion, bro. All right. Where is it here? Redacted. Let me look it up real quick. It was a title that came up. It says, Putin issues devastating warning on Iran to Trump and Israel over impending attacks, because they was talking about attacking Israel, not Israel, but attacking Iran. So if America attacks or send missiles to Iran or Israel, then basically that's going to directly involve Russia. So we're going to see what the West is going to do, and we're going to see what Trump's standpoint on this threat will be. But this shit is happening, brothers. Okay, we're here. This is the war that's going to bring back Yahweh Shai when it boils over. Because, see, now we're in a collapse, economic collapse. So this dollar gonna go any day. It's not even one of those unprecedented things. It's just what's gonna happen. Okay, these dollars is gonna go one day. We gonna wake up and you're gonna say, the collapse of the U.S. dollar, X, Y, and Z. You know, I know 3-4 years of the U.S. dollar being drug out. I believe the shit may collapse this year. It's possible. It's collapsing now. We just have to see what we just have to see the next moves. But regardless of it, man, things are here, and through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, we've been speaking on these things, and like Apostle Tahar said, we are in the time of Jacob's trouble. So, hey, don't say you weren't warned, man. So, anyway, without further delay, here we go.
Y'all, happy Tuesday. Hope everybody out there is having a great day so far. In just a second, man, we are getting some chilling warnings from the American people when it comes to the ICE Gestapo thugs. People have had it. They're fed up. They're done with it.
And them ICE might not even be real border patrol, okay? They may actually be foreign troops disguised as ICE agents, man. That's why they wearing them gaiters and all that other craziness on their faces, man, because ultimately, you know, this is, you know, they're disguising themselves. Now, I can't prove that, but, I mean, it makes all the sense of the world before you actually put the UN troops on the street. It makes sense that they will be disguised under foreign military. Now, I can't prove that. That's just an opinion of mine. But I did speculate that some of these foreign troops will be disguised as American soldiers or ICE agents. I have been saying that a while back. Okay, no, I can't prove it, but I mean, it's more it's more probable looking than actually having the UN with boots on the ground. Because if you got UN here, foreign military, policing the people, you're asking for civil unrest, man. And one day they just gonna get the orders, which they pretty much got it, but they just gonna start opening up on you people, and they just gonna start unaliving a lot of you people, man. All right. So anyway, let's play a little bit more. I'll get a couple of precepts. Got a couple of precepts lined up, and we'll do that. So here we go.
And look, you can't say the warnings are not put out. They are put out. So we'll talk about that. We also have Jesse Ventura just absolutely decimated Trump for turning the U.S. into, his words here, third world country. And he flirted potentially running for governor of Minnesota again. As you all know, he was the governor of Minnesota in the past. And he is absolutely furious about the ICE invasion of his beloved state. So we'll talk about that. We also have the Trump regime has gone full mask off. Wait until you see what Tom Homan said. And support for ICE has now plummeted to a record low. I've never seen such low numbers for any law enforcement operation in the entire country. Usually the U.S., American citizens have like a default reverence for law enforcement. Not here. Not here at all, actually. So we'll get to that. And later on, we have Trump saying something which should send a chill down your spine, because this is an emergency 5-alarm fire, red alert type thing here. He's basically hinting at, yes, they're going to try to steal, at the very least, the 2028 election, but potentially even 2026 as well. So you guys know the drill, man. Do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. You can click that bell icon to make sure you get a notification every single time a video drops. You can support the show on Patreon or tip with that thanks button on YouTube. Of course, sign up for Crystal Kylan Friends on Substack. And finally, go sub to Corn's World so you can hang out with us on Monday nights. We're live every Monday night over on that channel, and you don't want to miss it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right in ski. So let's start with this, and shout out to Jordan Chariton and Status Coup for bringing us this video here. By the way, if you haven't subbed yet, go sub to Status Coup now, because they've been on the ground in Minneapolis throughout the entire ICE invasion, and they've gotten some absolutely incredible videos. So go support real independent media. He's a real one. Entire ICE invasion, and they've gotten some absolutely incredible videos. So let's start with this, and shout out to Jordan Chariton and Status Coup for bringing us this video here. By the way, if you haven't subbed yet, go sub to Status Coup now, because they've been on the ground in Minneapolis throughout the entire ICE invasion, and they've gotten some absolutely incredible videos. So go support real independent media. He's a real one, on the ground reporting. And, you know, it's people like me. I'm in a comfortable studio, and I get to talk about what they actually went in the field to get for us. So let's go ahead and break this down for you here. This is a protester who is completely and utterly fed up, and he gave ICE a piece of his mind, and this is a dark and disturbing warning. Take a look.
With no cause, and murdering people for trying to flee and for obeying a command to leave the area, and then shooting her in the face like that after she drops her kid off at school. We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's no other way.
See, that's civil unrest. Now, the chick they shot in the face, we don't know. Now, we saw a video of them shooting into the car, but I said that could be a psyop, because I haven't seen any footage of a dead body, which they usually don't show. She shot in the car 3-4 times, then she runs into the back of another vehicle. End of discussion. They put her face on the news, and this is that. But can anybody verify that it was actually a dead body outside of agent provocateurs? Because it seems like this is a bunch of psyop shit that they're pulling. You know, a bunch of agent provocateurs coming together, twisting a narrative. Same thing they did with George Floyd to spark civil unrest, man. This is why the scriptures say, behold, we are not ignorant of Satan's device, because, you know, Esau was showing his horns. Okay? Esau is showing his horns, and he's showing who the devil is. And eventually he's going to start killing people just off GP. That's against the Posse Comitatus Act, man. You can't fucking sick U.S. military or any type of law enforcement on citizens without any probable cause, man. It's because you can't do no shit like that, bro. So this is why I question if those are really ICE agents or if they're some type of bounty hunters or some foreign military. Something to think about. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, so brothers, you got to be vigilant, man. Okay, you got to be on point. and stay locked in, all right? Because things are happening all around us, and eventually this shit gonna come to a city near you. Here in Kansas City, ICE motherfuckers, they got a whole platoon of ICE vehicles. It says ICE on them, you know, but allegedly they was hopping out of U-Haul trucks and grabbing people up a couple of months ago. But honestly speaking, their presence is here in Kansas City too. And if I'm not mistaken, I came across a post on Facebook that stated that they was pulling people over on one of the corridors of the highway 71 out here, along with police officers. So I'm wondering if they're working hand in hand with the police force, or if there's some type of division among them. But they're here. Okay, Ephesians 5 and 15. See that you walk circumspectly and not as fools, but as wise, man. Okay, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Okay, redeem the time, man. Keep your eyes glued to the news. Alternative news, that is.
Around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon. There's no way.
See? And he's stirring up that spirit because these patriots, these MAGAs, these right-wingers, that's going to ignite something in them, man, because in their mindset, they're like, wait a minute, man. This guy ain't come and do what he said he going to do. Instead, he said he was going to give us cheaper bread, cheaper milk, cheaper eggs, cheaper rent. But yeah, he's sick of fucking military on us, man. So that's a slap in the face of the American people. And they pissed off.
I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them. I've only been using my voice. The time for speaking is over. The time for niceties is over. The time for peace is over. They fired the first shot. It is time to end this shit by any means necessary.
You're talking about, potentially going to a dark place in this country. Do you foresee?
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian.
And I think this dude is an actor, man. He just give me acting vibes.
Concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this. We can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. That's the only way. If there was another way, I'd be advocating for it. I've spoken peacefully. I've marched peacefully. I marched without Sharpton. I marched on Washington. I've been peaceful. I've acted peacefully. The time for peace is over. The time for any means necessary is right now.
Does your dog pull like a little freight train every time you go for a walk? It's not just exhausting. It can actually damage.
When I told you guys that this country is becoming radicalized, I meant it. I'm not just talking out of my ass here. I have very personal firsthand experience with all things political. I mean, that's what I do for my job. And it became very clear to me that in this second Trump regime, they were no holds barred. They were just losing their goddamn minds off the reservation, completely unhinged, completely unpredictable, completely insane, overreaching, incredibly brutal. And I told you there would be consequences for that. I told you that this was not going to end in a pretty place. And the fact of the matter is, they've been warned. They've been warned time and time and time again. And their reaction every single time is to double down and triple down and quadruple down and make every single thing worse. Trump lives by some rules that were laid out for him by a former mafia lawyer, a guy by the name of Roy Cohn. And
Trump is Nero. When he was Nero, he pulled the same shit. He caused destabilization in Rome and blamed it on the Jews. And then he unalived himself, man, because he lost popularity with the people. He has a 31% approval rating now. But he was more favored to win the election because they didn't want Kamala in there. What I tackling as reuniting what Biden started. So now Trump gets in there promising this and that, and he did the left. I think that's what that warning shot was all about. Because really Trump's taking orders from the elites. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Even if his spirit, he knows it's not right. But he's the devil anyway, so he don't give a shit, He's protected, so for now at least, until Yahweh Shai moves on him. Whether he gets destroyed in the Third World War, he goes head first in slavery. At the end of the day, it's not going to win. It's not going to end good for none of these world leaders, man.
Roy Cohn said, never, ever, ever admit fault and always go on the offense. And Trump has abided by that for his entire life. Here's the problem. When you're president of the United States of America and your agents are shooting unarmed women in the face and murdering them, for you to double down and triple down and quadruple down and let the American people know there is no way through the normal political channels. There is no way through the judicial system to get this remedied, to fix this, to bring about justice, to have the correct consequences. The message that you are sending is exactly what this guy just said. And you're getting people who have been completely peaceful in their lives. You're getting people who do not want violence in any way, shape, or form. You're getting them.
Now, you don't get that because that's prophesied in the scriptures. And you people, you've been docile for too goddamn long. It's time you look at it and wake up and see what the hell is really going on, because they're getting ready to take away all your rights. And you're going to be able to say shit in a minute.
To go, holy fucking shit. This is what Malcolm X talked about. How we need to do self-defense to protect ourselves against an oppressive, tyrannical state, which is doing illegal and offensive violence against us. You're getting regular people to open their eyes and realize, no, there is no, hey, fascism is coming. You know, fascism is here. It's here right now. And the question is, what do we do about it? What do we do about it? And the fact of the matter is, I think the regime is waiting for literally any single thing they could use to justify and rationalize going full authoritarian and invoking the Insurrection Act. And look, to be fair, I think they're going to do that no matter what. If there isn't a real excuse, they'll make up an excuse. But they are laying the groundwork to do exactly that. And the other thing I fear is Trump is laying the groundwork not only to do that, but to do it around election time. But to do it at a moment where he can say, hey, now we have a national emergency. Now is not the right time to have an election. We're going to postpone the election. We'll revisit that.
That's his third term right there. Essentially, if we go in chaos and he wants to get reelected in 2028, then the chaos ain't going to stop. It's going to continue to boil over.
And everything calms down. But for right now, we have martial law, we have a curfew, we have the U.S. military in the streets, and now we're looking at a regime where he's surrounded by sociopathic yes men. These are the same people who said, yes, sir, go invade Venezuela and kidnap a sovereign leader. These are the same people who said, yes, sir, bomb Iran, as he did not that long ago. These are the same people who said, let's take Greenland, let's steal Greenland and destroy NATO and break up our entire relationship with the entire EU. So those people, there are no brakes on the car. There's not a rational, voice in the room. And here we are. And they're the ones who are going to decide where we go from here. But the American people, we're at a boiling point. We're at a boiling point. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people who in the past would absolutely positively condemn any kind of violence whatsoever, I do feel like we're now at a point where if there were to be violence against a federal agent, an ICE official, a Border Patrol official, if there were to be violence in Minneapolis against one of them, I really do think most of the country would shrug and go, well, what'd you expect? Well, what'd you expect? It's literally like a law of nature. If you fuck with somebody enough, if you fuck with people enough, there are going to be consequences, right? Like, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that's what we're looking at here. So...
Also, we had those cell phone carrier outages today. I think they experiment with that stuff, too. I think they're trying to see how things will go if they knock everything offline. Because when things are offline, that's when people really going to try to fuck up. But this is the Insurrection Act of 1807, codified in modern form, Title 10 of the U.S. Code, Sections 251 through 55. It's a federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy active duty U.S. military forces and or federalized state National Guard units for domestic use, which is local, within the country, is as it serves as a major exception to the Posse Comitatus Acts of 1878, which generally prohibits the federal military from engaging in civilian law enforcement activities. I mean, that's what you got the cops for. It says the act allows deployment in situations such as when state requests federal assistance to suppress an insurrection against its government. And when people rise up against these troops, they're going to call it an insurrection. But Esau provoked that reaction because he's fucking with people, man. Now, I still question they really shot that chick in the face. It's just fucking psyop as usual. But regardless of it, these simple-minded peons you call Americans believe that bullshit. So they gonna get roused up, man. Shoot a white woman in the face, this whole country go up in smoke. Let it be Jake? Yeah, not so much. It says when unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion make it impractical to enforce federal law through ordinary means, or when domestic violence, conspiracy, and other disruptions hinder the execution of laws or deprive people of constitutional rights, which they're doing. Equal protection under the 14th Amendment. It says the triggers are intentionally broad and somewhat vague, like the terms insurrection or domestic violence, and are not strictly defined by statute, which has led to ongoing debates about potential abuse. But before acting, the president must typically issue a proclamation ordering dispersals. Through the process can vary, and Trump ain't following no protocol. He gave them motherfuckers green light. Do what you gotta do. So here you go. Trump is a fucking dictator, man. He's showing his horns. But it says, redeeming the times because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is, and be not drunk with wine, which is philosophies, as well as wine, but philosophies, which a lot of you dudes are, wherein there's excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Stay in the Spirit, man. All right. What we at? 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Perilous goes into evil. Okay, for men should be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers. Yeah, they're breaking the trust of the people. False accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady. Hell, you have a lot of Jakes that's signing up for ICE, man, because, you know, they got that incentive. I believe it was like a $50,000 sign-on bonus, man. High-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Yahweh, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. So these are all signs pivotal to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai getting ready to lay the smackdown on Babylon the Great, which is so deservingly at this point. This shit just, I can't wait. You know, this shit is, I'm ready to get the hell up out of here. Ready to get in the kingdom and, you know, live and you know, be at peace, you know, and just be at peace with our nation for once, man. Okay? Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So there's a time and place for everything. A time to be born and a time to die. And a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. And a time of breakdown and a time to build up. Yeah, we're in a time to kill right now, man. Okay, the scriptures goes into a time of war, a time of love, and a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And after this Passover, shit may just crack officially, man. So, hey, man, let's be on our P's and Q's and let's stay in the spirit. Let's get a little bit more.
If you have some ICE Gestapo thugs, totally untrained, with fucking criminal histories, long rap sheets, and they show up, and they're throwing around their weight, and they're recording everybody, and they're breaking up families, and they're arresting innocent people, and they end up shooting a woman in the face at point blank for no fucking reason, and we could see it on camera. Yeah, a lot of people are going to start sounding like this guy. A lot of people are going to start sounding like this guy. The number of videos I've seen of people in Minneapolis screaming at the top of their lungs at an ICE thug, telling them to get the fuck out of here. I mean, these are people, you know, this is like an accountant. You know, this guy works in retail. This guy's an accountant. This is your buddy Dave, who was your college roommate, right? Like, you have now radicalized the majority of the population into correctly understanding that we are now living through history again, and Trump is creating the Fourth Reich. That's what's happening. Trump is creating the Fourth Reich, and any sort of finger wagging and tut-tutting and saying, oh, don't use that language, sir. Like, people are gonna be like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You can go to shut the fuck upsville. And this is what we're saying. We're seeing the regime go, you're using the incorrect language. Your rhetoric is out of control. Really? Our rhetoric is out of control. Your actual actions are out of control. You're the ones murdering people in the streets. And we use some naughty words, we use some no-no words, and therefore you get to fucking berate us and chastise us? Get the fuck out of here. It's called free speech. It's called the First Amendment. It's called we're right and you're wrong. It's called get the fuck out of these free cities. Nobody wants you there. Nobody wants you there. You're not.
And these right wingers, these patriots, they're gonna fight for that First Amendment, man. They're gonna die for that shit because Esau feel like that's the only thing he got left. Esau is losing his kingdom, man. So he's on a rampage. He's on crash out time. So you a Jake, man, hey, you better stay the hell out the way. This ain't got shit to do with us. We're just reporting and prophesying as we were commanded to do. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devils come down on you having great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. So there you go. He's coming down with great wrath. This dude is a fucking dictator. Isaiah, the 19th chapter, say that it should be a cruel Lord. That's Trump. Nigga trying to take Greenland, bro. That's, you would say, if one reason I see the whore breaking up with the beast, it can very well be that. Because if he goes in there and take that, that's prophecy being fulfilled. Unlike the apostles always say, things are going to come quick. And when that chip come, if that chip is going to be mandated, things going to move quick. We can be out here in a month after that chip come. Who knows? But it's going to get graphic, man. It's going to get real sticky real soon. You know? Let's play a little bit more and then I'll end it.
Actually doing a real job, by the way. You're not actually going around and rounding up criminals. We blew through all the criminals within the first week or so. If you're doing mass deportations, you're taking people who've been here from when they were kids. You're taking innocent people with visas, people with green cards, people who are dreamers, people who have never committed a crime ever, and they're an immigrant. You're taking all sorts of innocent people. And that's going to lead to a massive backlash, and the backlash is justified. And, you know, look, don't say we didn't warn you. Like, consider this your warning. That the way this guy's talking, a lot of people might be a little shocked at it, right? This has 1 million views. A lot of people might be shocked at it, but it's real. It's real. And you can only spit in somebody's eye and kick them when they're down enough times before they go, that's it.
You always wondered why that app didn't exist. Now you can make it. Meet Replit Agent. Want a custom workout plan? Make an app for that.
That's it. It's time to tool up, son. That's going to be the reaction. So, these ICE thugs need to be careful. They need to get the fuck out of there. They need to get the fuck out of there. They need to clean up their own house. They need to, become actual professionals. Did you know that Trump made it so instead of 5 or 6 months of training, they reduced it to 47 days? Why did they pick 47 days? Because he's the 47th president. I wish I was kidding. I'm dead serious. So they basically don't have training anymore. They got rid of the sit-up requirement because their fucking fat-ass agents couldn't do it. And here they are. These are white nationalists and Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and 3%ers. These are criminals, as I said. These are racist freaks. And they're looking for trouble. And so basically the reaction from people like this is, oh, you're looking for trouble? Well, okay, I'm going to match your energy. How about that? I'm going to match your energy. And I didn't start it, bitch. You started it. You fired the first shot. So you can't come here with your crocodile tears when something happens in the other direction because you've been warned. Fucking cut it out. Bring about justice in the case of the woman who was just fucking murdered instead of hiding evidence and protecting the guy and not even allowing a fucking investigation or a trial. You really think you're going to get away with that? You really think you're going to get away with that? Well, like I said, there's going to be fucking consequences now. People are fucking furious. So if you're not cleaning up your own house and you're not bringing about justice, people are going to revert to all sorts of violent ways of reacting. They're going to meet your violence with violence. So again, consider it your forewarning that this guy, he's not the only one that's saying shit like this. There's a lot of people saying shit like this. And throughout history, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Throughout history, even during like the civil rights movement, they're looked at now as like, oh, it was a peaceful movement and there was just nonviolence and MLK's philosophy won out. No, but you also had Malcolm X. You also had the Nation of Islam. You also had a number of people who thought that MLK was a fucking pussy and he wasn't fighting hard enough. Right?
He was a pussy when he was set up by them people with his dumb ass. That's why you niggas are in fucked up position you in now. Listen to that shit. 2nd Esdras 9:1. And he answered me and said, measure thou the time diligent in itself, and if thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before. We're measuring the time by going into the prophecies, man, and watching this. Okay, I mean, it can, everything can slow down. I'm not gonna say that it can't, because I did mention earlier I don't see it slowing down. I don't. That's an opinion. But they have a way of calling these people back to sleep. Just throw a dollar gas price cheaper in there, and maybe let milk go down by $1. Then these people, oh, okay, we good now. No, we still got famine on the horizon, pestilence. This is the beginning of sorrows. Then should thou understand that this is the very same time when Ahaz will begin to visit the world which he made. It says, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of peoples in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, the end is made manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder, and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that should be saved should be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, should be saved from the said perils, preserved from the said perils, Salakia, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them from me for the beginning, which is talking about the Israelites. So I don't know how no other nation could be part of that. 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. For many great miseries should be done to them that in the latter time that should dwell in the world, because they have walked with great pride. All right. So anyway, with that, all praises and glory honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.